Start out laying down like we would do. Place the block here, and then lay down. Maybe put a pillow right here or something else if you can't get your neck all the way down. So it opens up your upper back. If you do not have a block, you can always do that in modified fish, but it's a little bit of work. So we can all kind of start with that. So I will, unless there's any more questions, I'm going to mute everyone. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Just kidding, unmute yourself if you do have a question. All right, awesome. And then, so for stretching out the lower back when you're laying down, I'll try to demonstrate this a little bit, not laying down because it's harder to see, but basically you're gonna roll your shoulders back. So your shoulder blades are basically like puffing your chest out. Your tailbone is still on the ground, your head's still on the ground, and maybe you're able to like hold yourself up back there with your shoulders pushing back. With fish in general, I'm trying to think of the best way to demo this. With fish, you're kind of doing this. It's a lot of strength actually of rolling your shoulders back like this. And eventually you can go all the way on the top of your head. And it really stretches out the upper back. Or you can have a supported fish with the block, which not everyone has. If you're taking fish, just rolling your, and you can see that my chest is elevated, my back is not touching the ground, not touching the mat. My shoulders are, my tailbone is. And if you want to challenge your core, engage your core, engage your lower core, especially the harder thing to work out, and lift your feet up, pointing your toes or flexing them, anything to engage them, and that'll help strengthen the core. You can lower them if it's a little too much. But you're really not thinking of lifting your toes, you're thinking of pointing your toes or flexing them, but that energy of pushing out versus rising up will help them actually to rise up versus just thinking of cranking your leg up. Pushing that energy this way will help the leg to rise. So whether you're in supported fish or in traditional fish, maybe you're pointing your toes, engaging your core, elevating your legs. We'll all exhale, bringing your legs back down if you're lifted. And inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I didn't offer this before, but you could always kind of clasp your hand, your forearms underneath, crisscross, but then you kind of lose that shoulder blade action. The shoulder blade's really what's keeping your chest elevated. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. If you have the block under your back, remove the block and then come back down, maybe into a fish pose like we're non-block people are doing. Inhale. And exhale, coming all the way down, lying on your back. So your full back is on the ground. And then lift your knees up with your feet still on the mat. And you can pick your pelvis, or excuse me, pick your hips up a little bit, readjust whatever you need. Bring your feet not quite mat width apart, maybe mat width apart depending on your hips. And then just bring your knees together. And that's just a really, really small, calm, quiet kind of like adjustment of the lower back. It's not going to feel like, ooh, amazing, but it's very, very subtle. And then bring your hands on top of your belly. We're going to kind of pull our diaphragm down, which is attached to our lungs. When it pulls down, it fills our lungs up like balloons. And when we do that diaphragmatic breath, it's a deeper, bigger breath. So as you inhale, really kind of pull that diaphragm down and fill the belly that's in your hands. Exhale. You'll feel your belly fall. And continue to do that as you inhale. Belly rises. Exhale as the belly falls. And inhale, belly rise, hold it for 2 breaths. Exhale. And in the exhale, hold the breath out for 2 breaths. Inhale. Hold the breath in for 3 breaths. Or 3 counts, I'm sorry. Exhale. Hold the breath out for 3 counts. And then inhale. And exhale. Continue to breathe deeply, feeling your stomach, and just really kind of focusing on that diaphragmatic breath, that really deep, slow, methodical breath. And try to figure out how to harness in on using that breath whenever you need it to calm down, to go into restoration. Diaphragmatic breath is amazing if you're not feeling well or something and you need to restore. That's the other kind of breathing, that shallow deep breathe, or that shallow quick breathing, is going to get you really great if you need to run or do something like that. Not run, I mean like fight or flight run. You need to use your adrenaline. The other breath, that deep diaphragmatic breath, is great for restoration and healing. So you do need your adrenaline sometimes, but you also do need your healing. So focusing in on that deep diaphragmatic breath, we'll all meet on the next exhale. And inhale, bring your right knee into your chest, straighten your left leg down. Grab onto your right foot and see if you can bring your knee into a 90-degree angle with the knee tracking towards the right armpit. And then maybe you can grab onto this foot. Keep the left hip down. Try not to have it peeled up in an attempt to bring it down. That's not opening up the hips, that's just moving the hips. So really just try to open up that hip. This is kind of like lizard, but on the back. And just see if you can just bring the knee a little bit further and a little bit further, and maybe taking it out a little bit. Maybe that's too much. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you can bring it a little bit further. And this really opens up that hip, but a little bit more gentle, because you're normally doing this with the mat here, and the gravity is forcing your body down. And so it really is kind of painful, but now you are moderating the amount of stretch that you're getting on the right hip. Inhale. Exhale. Letting go of the right foot and grabbing onto the right knee. We're going to bring this knee to the left, keeping our right shoulder on the mat. Maybe, oh, here's a block. Maybe you rest your knee on the block. Again, keeping your right shoulder on the mat. Your gaze can go to the right. Your right hand can lay down flat, or it can go into goalpost, up or down. I have not as much range going down. It doesn't lay flat. So maybe you want that. Inhale. Exhale and your spinal twist. Inhale. Exhale. Twists are really great, not only for the spine to realign, kind of relax all those tiny, tiny spinal muscles that can get really stuck and pull the spine out of alignment, but also it help aid in digestion. Twists do, because it gets all the internal organs kind of moving around. And the diaphragmatic breathing helps move the stomach too, the digestive part of the stomach or intestines. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, bringing your right knee back into your chest. And then with your right foot, grab onto it with your left hand and sort of smoothly, slowly push away the right knee with your right hand. Bend your left knee and catch your right ankle with your left knee, flexing the right foot. Maybe you adjust it because that elbow knob's a little, or that little ankle knob's a little sharp. And then you can grab onto the back of the left thigh. You can straighten your left leg, point your toes, or flex your foot. It's not necessarily about stretching the left leg. The focus here is on stretching that hip. So maybe you want to push that right knee out again. Maybe keeping your back, ultimately keeping your back on the mat. Maybe you bring your forearms underneath and then you're able to lay back down. Maybe you kind of cradle your shin like a little baby, wrapping your left elbow around the foot, right elbow around the knee, clasping your hands. I keep my left foot back on the ground for this. That way I have something to anchor so I don't just fall to one side. So whatever you need for your modified supine pigeon pose, why not? We'll be here for a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, lower that left foot down if it's lifted. Place the right foot back down onto the mat. And then just wiggle your knees to one side. And then the other, I shouldn't say wiggle, but windshield wiper your knees from one side to another. Using the breath. On the next inhale, we'll meet with our knees back, up and straight, bringing our left knee now into our chest. Our right leg comes out straight, and then grabbing a hold of that left foot with the left hand, and then kind of the same thing we were doing before. You can think of this as a half happy baby or a supine lizard pose. And so maybe this side is really flexible and you're really bringing that knee all the way down to the ground. Again, keeping, like, instead of popping that right hip up, keeping that hip down. Or maybe this side is not flexible and you really have to take it out on the inhales, and then maybe on the exhales you can come a little deeper. So again, we'll be here for a few breaths and just try to think of that 90-degree angle at that knee, if you can, and bringing it towards that left armpit. Inhale, keeping that right hip on the mat. Exhale. If you can't do that, I should have said it on the other side, you can always grab onto the calf. It's the benefit of having an actual class where you can see people. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So letting go of that left foot, grabbing onto the left knee, and bringing that left knee to the right, crossing it over the body. Maybe you bring that block, placing the knee underneath the block, keeping the left shoulder on the mat. Maybe you bring your arm out straight, goalpost up or down, whatever you're trying to stretch out. Again, you can see my arm is floating here. I can't get it all, my hand all the way down without cheating, so to speak. So for me, this feels like a pretty good stretch. Your gaze can go to the left, and you can see this is a full spinal twist. My hips are facing this way, my head is facing this way. Exhale on the twist. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale, slowly coming out of the twist, bringing your left knee into your chest. Then grabbing onto the left foot with the right hand, pushing the left knee away just lightly. Flexing the right foot as you bring, the left foot as you bring the right knee to catch the left ankle, and then bringing your hands behind your right thigh, maybe straightening the right leg, whatever you want for your modified supine pigeon pose. And just remember pushing that left thigh out, opening that hip up, because primarily you really just want to focus on opening the hip in this pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Picking whatever alternate pose you wanted as I showed on the other side. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale, lower the right foot down onto the mat, lifting the left leg up, placing the left foot on the mat, and then windshield wiper out the knees. Bringing them from one side to another. I like to do this nice and slow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, we'll meet with our legs up. And then kind of a weird, funky thing, but basically scoot to the left side of your mat and then come onto the right side of your body. You can come onto your right hand and then push your left hand into the mat. Bring your feet together and then float your feet and then slowly kind of clamshell your knees together. It looks really goofy, but this is really good for stability of your kneecap on your left side, your left knee right now. You can either keep them floated or keep your feet on the ground and basically just moving the left knee up and down. If your left knee is always talking to you like mine is, this may be really great. So whatever works for you. And on the next exhale, we'll lower our legs back down. And then coming onto our backs, scooting to the right side of our mat. rolling onto our left side body. I'm gonna just move a little bit so you can see my really cute, embarrassing clamshell pose, but lying onto the left side of the body, either keeping the feet and left leg down or floating the feet up, pressing into the mat with the right hand, and then just a little clamshell, really focusing whether your feet are elevated or on the ground, but just the strength building on the right side of the right kneecap on this side. So whichever version you're doing. Inhale. Got a couch in the way. And exhale. On the next exhale, we'll lower the legs back down, scooching or rolling back down onto our mat. We'll actually just roll over and then come on to hands and knees. So finding your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Giving you just a moment to kind of get there, get comfy. Your toes can be tucked or untucked, yogi's choice. And then once we find nice solid grounding, we'll inhale as we puff our chest up, gaze goes between the knees, our pelvis tilts, and we exhale. Inhale into our cow pose. I always get this wrong. Rolling our shoulders back and bringing our chest forward, tilting the pelvis the other direction. Exhale towards cat, pushing the mat away. Inhale to our cow pose. Exhale, cat. And we'll inhale into a flat neutral spine. And exhale, we'll bring our right arm up, left leg keeping it back. I heard my knee pop just now. I really like those little clamshell things. Finding nice solid base here. Again, toes tucked with the right foot, providing a little bit more stability. Untucked, a little less stable. Inhale here, straight and strong. Exhale, elbow to knee under the chest. Inhale, straighten it out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, straighten it out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, straighten it out. Hold here for a moment. Check in with your left hand. Are you poofing up and staying high or heavy on the wrist? Or are you putting a lot more pressure into the metacarpals and not right onto the wrist? Inhale, straighten it out. Exhale, last one, elbow to knee. Inhale, arms straight, legs straight. Exhale, maybe you can, awkward airplane, right arm to the right, left leg to the left. Inhale, and exhale, lowering the left leg down, placing the right hand on the mat, maybe adjusting the knee a little bit to the right, pushing back into a modified child's pose with the left leg straight. If this doesn't work for you, you can always just come into a regular child's pose here. Whichever works. So take 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale as we roll forward onto our hands and our right knee, readjusting the right knee. And then engaging the side body, lifting that left leg up, coming into a little bit of a fire hydrant, bringing that knee down. And then you can kind of wiggle out the hips from here, bringing them from one side to another, doing a little nice. And then, let's see, is there anything else you want to do on this side? Yes, there is. So we'll inhale, bring our right arm back to a straight, left leg back. And then from here, if you want to keep that right hand down, you can. We're going to bend the left leg. So maybe you're perfect right here. You're really pushing that leg up, 90-degree bend in the knee. But maybe you have that that right arm out. You can reach back, maybe grabbing a hold of that foot, pushing into that foot, and then finding a little bit of a bow here, a half kind of crisscross bow here. Inhale, kicking into the hand. Exhale, maybe you lose your balance a little bit, no big deal. Inhale, and exhale, release the bind. Bring your right hand down, lower your left knee, and a little wiggle out before we get to the other side. Finding stillness in the inhale. Exhale, nice, rooted into the hands and the knees. Inhale, bring the left arm out and straight. Exhale, take that right leg back. So here we're just finding a nice stable platform, toes tucked or untucked, depending on how you feel. If you want a little bit more stable or a little bit less, or the challenge would be untucked. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arm and legs straight. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, straight. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, straight. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, straight. Now checking in with that right hand. Are you popping your metacarpals up, putting your pressure on the wrist? Or are you placing these metacarpals down and then alleviating some of that pressure on the wrist? Inhale. Exhale, last one. Elbow to knee. Inhale, straighten it out. Exhale, left arm to the left. Right leg to the right, awkward airplane. Engage your core here. Inhale. Exhale, lower the right leg down to the ground with a little bit of displacement. Left hand down onto the mat. Adjust the knee as the left knee is necessary, and then pushing back into a modified child's pose. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale as you bring yourself back up. Engage, adjusting the left knee back. Engaging the side body. Lifting the right leg up. Bringing the knee bent, coming into sort of a fire hydrant here. And then placing the knee back down. Inhale. And exhale, a little wiggle out of the hips. Maybe that last bit was a lot on the hip, kind of using the strength of the outer hip to hold your whole leg up. It's a lot. Finding stillness here as we inhale, bringing our left arm back up. Exhale, right leg back. And then maybe you keep your hand down, and that's okay. But for all of us, either hands down or hands floating, and you can bend the right knee. Basically thinking of putting your foot, there it goes, putting your foot on the ceiling. Kind of weird. So if your arm is straight, maybe you can reach it back. Maybe you can clasp a hold of that right foot. Holding onto it, kicking in to the hands, really opening up the chest, the shoulder, the hip, and the lower back. Try not to track the right knee to the right. Just bring it straight where it should be instead of kind of tracking it to the right of your body. Straight back. Inhale. And exhale, release the bind, bringing the hands to the mat, and then finding a nice seated position, and we're back. Awesome. So now we were seated, but we'll go ahead and just come into a nice standing position. Just go ahead and get started. So we should have gotten nice and stretched out a little bit, and a little bit of core burning, or maybe a little bit of sweats coming on with some of that stuff on the hands and knees. So we'll find a nice mountain pose. So with mountain pose, you have your hip bones here, not the outsides of your hips, but your hip bones. And that's where your feet should be, right about here for hip width apart. And you really want to be pressing in to the metatarsal part of your feet, and then, and your heel. So pressing into that, and then putting the toes down and gripping the mat with the toes. And that'll be a really strong, solid foundation. You do the same thing with the hands, except for less of the heel of the hand, if you will, because that's really going to put a lot of pressure on the wrist. Rolling your shoulders up, inhale, exhale, back and down. We'll do another like that. Inhale, rolling your shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, rolling them back and down. We'll do the opposite direction, rolling the shoulders back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back and up. Exhale, forward and down. And inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. We'll hold here. You can have your hands out, fingers pointed, open wide, nice stable mountain pose. Slight bend in the knees. You don't want to absolutely lock your knees out. You can if it feels right. If not, you can have a nice slight bend in the knees, just whatever you can do to engage the posterior chain muscles of the back of the legs as you kind of tip back just a little bit, so you're not lunging forward, but just really strong on the spine. Nice mountain pose. Inhaling here, strong in your mountain pose. Exhale. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. You can check it with your hand. Exhale as you fold. Inhale as you step the right leg back into a lunge. Exhale as you lower the right knee down to the mat, untuck the toes of the right foot. You can scoot that right knee back, making sure to keep the left knee into a 90-degree or angle, or just over the foot, because maybe it's a little bit shorter than 90 degrees with the right knee lowered. Inhale here, and exhale. Maybe you can slowly start to come up onto that onto that left knee, bringing your right hip and left hip together level, rolling your shoulders back, engaging your core here. Maybe you stay here, and that's perfect. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you drop your hips a little lower, rolling your shoulders back, arms up and overhead. Gaze goes between the palms. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, slowly coming back down and over. Inhale. Maybe you have that block again, and you can bring your left hand onto that block, or you give your left hand a little cupcake hand, and you bring your left hand onto the mat, and the right arm up and overhead, elbow joint kind of tracking behind the head, not forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale as you slowly lower your right hand down. Left hand comes back to the other side of the mirror, framing the left foot. Tuck the toes of your right foot, lift the right knee. Bring your left foot all the way to the back of your mat, and then finding your downward facing dog. This is the first downward facing dog of class, so we'll take a few moments here. You can slowly maybe bring one heel to the mat at a time. Maybe you can shorten the distance or increase the distance between your hands and your feet. You can bend your knees deeply, bringing your stomach to the top of your thighs, opening up your shoulders, and really thinking of that hand placement, pushing most of your weight up here in this portion of your hand versus right here. This area right here that's really white on mine right now is not touching the mat. You can see that that's the area is kind of a suction cup right there. Inhale. Exhale, gripping the fingers into the mat in your downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, finding stillness in your downward facing dog. And we'll inhale, glide forward into a plank. If you had to adjust your feet and hands in plank, just know that that's where you're wanting to have your hands and feet for downward facing dog. So your hands and feet in plank should be hands under shoulders and then feet out straight. So we'll push back into a downward facing dog. Try not to move your feet and hands. That's where they should be in downward facing dog. Inhale, we'll glide forward to plank again. Exhale, lowering the knees down, bringing the chest between the hands. Your butt is going to be in the air, chin and chest down, rolling your shoulders back. And inhale as you bring your chest forward, belly on the mat, rolling your shoulders back and down. Gaze is very low. Toes are together. Cobra. Inhale, pressing into the knees, pushing back up, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, glide the left leg forward into a lunge. Exhale, stepping into the left leg, bringing the right leg forward, fold. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale as you rise, strong in those posterior chain muscles in the back of the leg. Inhale here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping the left leg back this time, all the way to the back of the mat into a lunge, lowering the left knee down as you exhale, untucking the left toes, and then keeping the right knee over the ankle, you can bring that left knee back, feeling a deep opening in the front of that hip flexor on the left side. Inhale here. Maybe you stay here the whole time and this is perfect with your hands down. Maybe you slowly start to come onto that right knee. So if you're onto this right knee, rolling your shoulders back and down, lowering your hips, bringing your left hip to match the right. You can find a deep opening in your left hip flexor, rolling the shoulders back and down, engaging the core. Your pelvis is attempting to tuck. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you start to bring your arms up overhead. Maybe you roll your shoulders back, keeping your arms just overhead, and then your gaze can go between your palms. Inhale. Exhale. Still keeping your spine long and not crunching over. Inhale. Exhale, bringing your hands back down to your knee. And then if you have a block, you can bring a block to your right side. Or again, keeping your hands like a cupcake hand. If there's a cupcake underneath there, you don't want to squish it. Placing your right hand to your right, kind of parallel where your hip is. And then bringing your left arm up and overhead. Deep piriformis stretch. Maybe this is too much and you keep your right hand on your hip. Should have said that on the other side, sorry. Modifications. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale as you coming back down. Left hand on the mat. Right hand on the mat. Tucking the toes of the left foot. Lifting the left knee. Stepping that right leg back. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, glide forward into your plank. And then we're going to go into chaturanga. So with chaturanga, it's really just a gliding forward, keeping your elbows knitted into your rib cage. And then your arms are going to go kind of back here. So you're going to have to glide forward with your chest, and then your elbows are going to be at a 90-degree angle. So as you exhale, knee stretch chin or chaturanga, inhale, glide forward into cobra, what we just did, or upward facing dog. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Your weight is on the top of your feet and your hands. Your thighs and legs are elevated. Exhale, tucking the toes, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale. 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, bringing your right foot between the hands into a lunge. Stepping into the right foot as you bring your left foot into a forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale as you slowly rise all the way up. Hands to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart center. Yay, fun. So now we're going to do a little bit more strength in our Surya Namaskar. So we'll do Surya Namaskar B. So it's just a modification. So you can grab a quick drink of water, maybe dial a little bit of sweat. It's getting a little hot in here as we move towards Surya Namaskar B. So as you're grabbing your water, we're going to eventually go into a chair pose. So feet are the same. And when you go into a chair, you don't want to pop your butt out, but you don't want to have it completely tucked in. You want to find a kind of neutral spine here. And your arms can be up and overhead, or they can just be out in front of you or at heart center. So whatever works best for you. So finding your way to the top of your mat, and then you'll inhale, arms out and up. Exhale into your chair pose. Staying here for 1 set full breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, last breath in the chair. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Options here. So in your fold, you can just step back into a plank or a chaturanga, or you can push into a chaturanga. You don't want to push that back into a plank or kick back into a plank. It's a lot on the shoulders. So if you're going to push back into something, do it into chaturanga, or just step back into a plank and lower to chaturanga. So options for you there. Inhale in the fold, and then exhale. Push back into plank, chaturanga. Inhale, scooping the chest forward, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you step the right foot forward between the hands. Bring your left foot into a 45-degree angle, strong in the hips as you rise up into warrior one, keeping your right knee over the foot, and your left foot is at a 45. Hips are tracking forward, so maybe there's spacing between your legs, arms up and overhead, or long, straight spine, rolling your shoulders back, looking between the palms. Inhale, exhale. Coming back down, placing your hands on either side of the right foot, tucking the left foot, coming back into a three-legged plank with the right leg lifted. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, finding stillness. Inhale, step the left leg forward between the hands. Right leg comes into a 45-degree angle. As we inhale, arms up and over, finding our warrior one. Again, left knee over the foot, hips together, tracking forward. You can bring a little bit more space in between the feet. Hands up or on your hips in prayer. Inhale here. Exhale, maybe you roll the shoulders back. Maybe you look between the hands. Inhale. And exhale. All of us coming with our hands on the other side of our left foot, tucking the right foot, and then we'll come into three-legged plank with the left leg lifted. Inhale into your three-legged plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, finding stillness. And inhale, looking forward. And either step, hop, or jump to the front of your mat. Fold, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, as you bend your knees, rise up into your chair. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feet are still in chair pose. Inhale here. Exhale, as you twist to your right. I'll try to go backwards so it's not very confusing. So it's your left elbow around your right knee. Checking in with your knees, seeing if your left knee is tracking back and forward. And then maybe you can open up your arms a little bit. Nice little twist here. Inhale, we'll come back up into your chair. Exhale, we'll twist to the opposite direction. So twisting to the left. And this time it's the right elbow in the left knee. Gazing to the left. Maybe you open up your arms, maybe you don't. Bringing your hands back together. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands up. Inhale, hands to heart center. Woo! Hopefully you feel nice and sweaty so we can start to wind down. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the right leg back. Exhale, step the left leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring the right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring the right knee into the nose, and then find placement for pigeon pose. Inhale here, sitting upright, making sure your hips are aligned, your left leg is out long, your right knee is bent. You don't have to have your calf perfectly parallel. That's a very deep stretch. You'll want your right foot engaged to protect the knee. So finding your pose here, Maybe you have a bunch of pillows, maybe you have a block, and then we'll bring our hands into cupcake hands. We're not gonna come to a full forward fold yet. And then we'll slowly exhale, bending at the arms, finding strength in the arms, bringing the forehead down and then pushing back up. Inhale, 2 more like that. Exhale, we fold. Forehead down, pushing back up. Inhale, exhale, we fold. Pushing up as we inhale. And then exhale, we fold and stay down. So whatever your fold is, maybe you're on your crossed arms, maybe you have a block underneath your chest, you're staying up, and then you're bringing a pillow under your forehead, or maybe you have 2 blocks. Whatever works best. We'll be here for about 4 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you push yourself back up. Tuck the toes of the left foot. Maybe scooch that left foot up a little bit. Lift the left knee. And then with the strength of the core, bring that right knee into the chest in a plank. Kicking that right foot all the way up. 3-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale. Coming down, bringing that right leg down into downward facing dog. Inhale. Maybe taking a few moments to just kind of pump out the hips a little bit, bending one knee at a time. Inhale. Exhale, finding stillness. Inhale, lifting the left leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog with the left leg lifted. Inhale, bringing that, and exhale, bringing that left knee into the chest, and then placing that left knee down, finding your pigeon on this side. Strong on the hips, checking in with the right leg, staying upright first, checking in if that's how you want your calf. For me, I don't want an extreme stretch right now in my left leg, so I'm not going to be perfectly parallel with the front of my mat. And then finding your cupcake hands, inhale here, exhale, lower down for 3. Inhale, pushing up. Exhale as we lower down. Inhale, pushing up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, pushing up. And then this is the last one where you lower down and stay down. Exhale, lowering all the way down. And then we'll stay here for 4 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, pressing back up onto the mat, onto the hands, tucking the right toes, maybe scooching that right foot up, lifting the right knee, and then engaging the core, bringing the left knee into the chest, pressing that leg all the way up, 3-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, lower the left leg back down, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, gaze kind of mid-mat, thinking of jumping your feet wide, and then we'll jump to the middle of the mat with our feet wide into a little squat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, really pushing into our knees with our elbows. Inhale. And then we'll bring our arms out long and slowly lower our bottoms to the mat. And then we'll come down, all the way down onto the mat. Inhale. Bringing the heels close to the bottom. Our knees are still pointed at the sky. Our hands can come out wide. And we'll push into the feet. Strengthen the legs as we lift the hips up. Tucking the shoulder blades under, making sure your chin isn't buried in your chest. Really lifting the hips up. Keeping the knees from splaying out. Bringing them together. Feet on the mat. Maybe you bring your hands, clasp your hands underneath your hips. Really pushing your hips up. Finding a nice back bend here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, release the bind. If you haven't, untuck the shoulder blades and slowly roll back down. One vertebrae at a time. If you have a wheel pose, we can take that next. If you don't have a wheel pose, just do the bridge that we just did. If you want to take bridge, but supported bridge, you just put a block right under your sacrum. So for wheel, you'll bring your hands with your fingers closer to your toes, beside each ear, elbows together, and then either bridge or wheel, we'll press into our feet, lift our hips, and then press into our hands. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Option. Bring the right knee, into the chest. And then exhale. Straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Knee to the chest. Exhale. Place it down. Inhale. Left knee into your chest. Exhale. Straighten it up to the ceiling. Inhale. Knee into the chest. Exhale, back to wheel or bridge, and then slowly coming down, one vertebrae at a time, either from wheel or bridge. Windshield wiper out the feet, so bring the knees, bring the feet wide, and bring one knee down to the left, knees down to the left, and then knees down to the right. As you breathe. Knees up towards the ceiling. Bring your knees in towards the wide and in towards your chest. Reach your hands between your feet, grabbing onto the outsides of your feet, keeping your tailbone lower to the mat, and then kind of doing what we were doing at the very beginning of class, like a half happy baby or like a double lizard. So taking your happy baby now, you can think of keeping your tailbone down, knees at a 90-degree angle, and knees towards your armpits. You can find a nice little rock here. Maybe you can straighten one leg out. Very slow, methodical, and gentle here, because it's very easy to pull something, so just know your own body. Maybe you have both legs straight. Happy babies, so babies are very happy when you change them. This is probably a familiar pose from 20, 30 years ago, depending on how old you are. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, finding stillness. Exhale, bring the feet together, lowering your feet down. So you can stay here in Supta Baddha Konasana with your feet kind of in a butterfly pose or a cobbler's pose. Or you can bring your legs out long. You can place your hands on your thighs, just adding a little extra weight, kind of really making sure your tailbone is flat on the mat and it's not trying to tuck up, causing a nice gap in your back from the mat. So either placing your hands on your thighs if you are in Supta Baddha Konasana, or just bringing your right hand on your belly, left hand on your chest, hands out long, hands at a T, hands up and over, or arms up and overhead. So yogi's choice. And again, maybe you have your legs out long and start to slowly blink your eyes closed or at a soft gaze. Breath can come in and out naturally, taking your Shavasana. Slowly start to blink the eyes open. Start to invite movement with a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Maybe circle the wrists, circle the ankles. Straighten the legs out long if you're in toddler's pose. Bringing your arms up and overhead. Big good morning stretch. Inhale. Exhale, side out. One more like that. Inhale, stretch from fingertips to toe tips. Exhale, side out through the mouth. And inhale, rolling onto your left or right side, using your bicep as a pillow. Pushing in the mat with the hand that's down. And slowly coming into your comfortable seated position. Bringing your hands to heart center. And namaste.
Thank you so